Welcome and thank you for always joining us. We are looking at a question that was done in KCSE 2022. The question is on area approximation. Question reads, the diagram below is a sketch of two curves. Y is equal to 2x squared plus 1 and y is equal to x squared plus 1 drawn on the same grid. We have the two curves, y is equal to 2x squared plus 1 and y is equal to x squared plus 1. Part A of the question. Using trapezium rule with 5 strips, estimate the area bounded by the curves y is equal to 2x squared plus 1 and y is equal to x squared plus 1, and the lines x is equals to 0 and x is equals to 5. This question is usually very easy. The first thing, under trapezium rule, we calculate the height, and in this case the height is obtained by taking the maximum value of x, which is 5, minus the minimum, which is 0 in our case. You divide by the number of strips mentioned, and in this case if you take 5 minus 0 you get 5, divide by 5 you get exactly 1 unit. Having gotten the height, we can now proceed and draw a table, and our table is going to have x, and we have been told that the values of x are ranging from 0 all the way to 5. That is 0, 1, we have 2, we have 3, we have 4, we have 5, and that is our last strip. From there we have the first curve, that is y is equal to twice x squared plus 1. Since that is our first curve, we can call it y1. Then our second curve, let us call it y2, which is given by x squared plus 1. And now next we take y1 minus y2 for us to get our y, which represents our strips. Once you have done that, now we can go ahead and use our curves plus the values of x to get the y1. So we know when x is 0, y1 will be equal to twice x squared. Remember, x is 0, so 0 squared is 0 times 2 gives us 0 plus 1. You get 1. When the value of x is 1, we take x, which is 1 squared. You get 1 times 2 is 2. You add 1, the answer is going to give us 3. Then when x is 2, y1, when you substitute back, you are going to get 9. And when x is 3, that gives us 3 squared, which is 9 times 2, which is 18 plus 1. You get 19. When x is 4, you substitute it here, it is going to give you 3. And when x is 5, you substitute it here, it's going to give us 51. We go to y2. The values of x are known, so we take x squared, which is 0. 0 squared is 0 plus 1, you get 1. When x is 2, you take 2 squared, which is 4 plus 1, you get 5. When x is 2, you bring it here. When x is 1, when x is 1, you take 1 squared, you get 1 plus 1, this gives us 2. Then when x is 2, you square 2, you add 1, you get 5. When x is 3, you take 3 squared, which is 9, plus 1, you get 10. When x is 4, you replace it here, it's going to give us 17. Then when x is 5, you square 5, you get 25 plus 1, this gives us 26. From there now we can proceed and get the difference between the two curves, that is taking y1 minus y2. If you take 1 minus 1, you get 0. 3 minus 2, you get 1. 9 minus 5, you get 4. Then 19 minus 10, you get 9. 33 minus 17, you get 16. And lastly, 51 minus 26, you get 25. Having done that, now we label the strips. The first one we call it y0, then y1, y2, y3, y4, and lastly we have y5. How do we find area? Using trapezium rule. Area is given by taking half, you multiply by the height, into, we have the sum of the ends, that is y0 plus y5, that is y0 plus y5, which we call the ends, then plus twice the middles, which is y1 plus y2 plus y3 plus y4. Once you do that, now we can come here and substitute those values. Area is going to be equal to half times 1, which is our height. We open the brackets, we take y0, which is 0, plus y5, which is 25, plus twice the sum of the middles, that is the y1 up to the y4. We are going to have 1 plus 4 plus 9 plus 16. Area is going to be equal to half times 1, which remains half. We open the bracket, 0 plus 25, you get 25, plus twice the sum of the middles, that is 1 plus 5, 4 plus 9 plus 16, giving us 30. We proceed, this is going to be half is the same as 0.5, into, we have 25, plus 2 times 30 will give us 60, and this gives us 0.5 into 25 plus 60 will give us 85. And when you take 0.5 times 85, you are going to get 42.5 square units. Part B of the question reads, using mid-Ordinate rule with 5 strips again, estimate the area bounded by the curves y is equal to twice x squared plus 1 and y is equal to x squared plus 1 between the lines x is 0 and x is equals to 5. Just like in trapezium rule, the first thing you do is getting the height, and the height is going to be given by the maximum value of x, which is 5, minus the minimum 0. You divide by the number of stripes, and in this case you are going to get 5 divided 5 by 5, which is exactly 1 unit. Once you have the height, we are going now to develop a table. We are going to develop a table for the 2. We are going to have x here. The values of x are going now to change. This is y1, which is twice x squared plus 1, and this is y2, which is x squared plus 1. And here we will get the value of y by taking y1 minus y2. Now with mid-ordinate rule, we are going to use the midpoints. For example, the midpoint in our first case, that is between 0 and 1, we have 0.5 as the first value of x. That is to say, you simply take 0 plus 1, you divide by 2. Then next we are going to have 1 plus 2, divide by 2, you get 1.5. Then next we are going to take 3, that is we are going to take 2 plus 3, which is 5, divided by 2, you get 2.5. And the next mid-ordinate is going to be 3 plus 4, which is 7, divided by 2, you get 3.5. And lastly, we are going to have 4 plus 5, which is 9, divided by 2, you get 4.5. And that is our last value of x. Then now you substitute 0.5 back in this equation. So when you substitute 0.5 in this equation 1, you are going to get a figure that is equal to 1.5. Then 1.5 substituted in y1 will give us 5.5. Then when we substitute 2.5 into the equation of y1, you are going to get 13.5. Then if you substitute 3.5, you get 25.5. And lastly, for 4.5, you get 41.5. We have again x squared plus 1 for y2. When you place back the value of x into this equation, we are going to have 0.5 squared plus 1, giving us you get 1.25, 1.25, and then 1.5 you square, you add 1, you get 3.25, 3.25. Then 2.5 back into the equation will give us 7.25. Then 3.5 squared, you add 1, you get 13.25. And lastly, 4.5 squared, you add 1, you get an answer equivalent to 21.25. We are now getting y by taking y1 minus y2, which gives us 1.5 minus 1.25, you get 0.25. Then 5.5 minus 3.25, you get 2.25. 13.5 minus 7.25, you get 6.25. 25.5 minus 13.25, you get 12.25. Then lastly, 41.5 minus 21.25, you get 20.25. Now we have to name our strips. Under mid-ordinate rule, unlike in trapezium rule where we begin, where the first one is given y0, in mid-ordinate the first one is given y1, the second y2, y3, y4, and lastly we have y5. Having done that, we can now get the area. Area using mid-ordinate rule, you take the height, you multiply by the sum of the strips, that is y1, y2, y3, y4, and lastly we have y5. Having done that, we are now good to go. Area is going to be given by height. Our height is 1. You multiply by y1. y1 is 0.25 plus y2 is 2.25, plus y3 is 6.25, plus 12.25, and lastly plus 20.25. So we proceed. Our height still remains 1 multiplied by the sum of all these y1 up to the y5, which gives us 41.25. And when you take 1 times 41.25, you get exactly 41.25, or simply 41¼ square units. Thank you for watching, and welcome to our discussions. And in case you have just pumped onto the channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click the subscribe button so that anytime we publish a video like this, you'll automatically be given a notification.